Hello and welcome to From the Roots Up. My name is Kristy and we are so excited for you to join us as we build our homestead together from scratch, from the roots up. As you can see, we are in our new home. Finally, we are so excited. The past few months have been crazy. We've been moving in, we've been unpacking, and we've all been sick. So it's been a while since we made a video, but we are so thankful to finally be here. And with spring approaching, we have so many exciting projects to share with you. My most exciting project, at least the one that's most exciting to me, is starting the garden. And we have gotten our garden bed started out here, and we'll make a separate video on that. And but first we need to start some plants inside, because in our area, we're in zone 7B, we generally need to start peppers and tomatoes inside. So today we are going to be starting peppers. I'm going to talk to you about some of the tools and some of the equipment that I use to start peppers. We're going to show you the peppers that I'm starting, and I'm going to walk you through the process of getting those little pepper seedlings started. First of all, if you're going to start peppers, you need seeds. And so here are the pepper seeds that I am planning on starting. This is a lot of different types of peppers, and I will say that we like to eat peppers, especially sweet peppers. If you'll notice, I have far more sweet peppers than I do hot peppers. But I would say of the two things in the garden we eat the most of, it's onions and peppers. So we wanted to make sure we have plenty of peppers and plenty of variety of peppers. I'm also starting some peppers for family and friends. But we have the Nadapeno pepper from Baker Creek, and this is a heatless jalapeno, and it's gonna be great if I want to make, I like spicy, kicky salsa, but I know not everybody in my family does, so this is gonna be great for making some non-spicy salsa and doing some other things with jalapeno taste, but not the heat of a jalapeno. I have these pepperoncinis that I found at Home Depot. They're from Burpee. These I love to chop up and put in roast and make Mississippi mud roast. They are delicious. So I had to have some of these for me, and I'm planting some for my mom and dad as well. Shishito peppers from Hudson Valley. These are, I hear that they're excellent grilling peppers. We're gonna give these a try for the first time today, but we love a good grilling pepper. Banana peppers, these are my husband's favorite. These are from just boring old banana peppers from Baker Creek. So hopefully they will do well. We'll plant a few of these. And then I've got Poblanos, also from Baker Creek. I have these two new ones that I'm trying. The Lesya pepper and the Cachucha pepper. And these are both from Baker Creek. They're supposed to be really sweet, delicious peppers. So we will see, maybe put some on salads, maybe saute some. We'll see how that goes. And then I have some that I got, these yellow Piquillo peppers. These were at the end of the season. My gardener does this great thing when they're trying to get rid of their old stock. They have what are called grab bags, and for like $10 you can get 15 seeds or something to that effect. And it ends up being a great deal, but you don't know what you're gonna get. So it's a great way to try new things for super cheap. So I have these that came in my grab bag, so we will try these little peppers. And I also have an Anaheim pepper from Annie's. And I found this company, I wanted to try a few from this company. They're called For the Love of Seeds, and I found them on Etsy, and they have great reviews. Now, I'm always hesitant to try a company from Etsy or somewhere like that, but I decided to go ahead, since they had such good reviews and they had a ton of variety, to go ahead and try a few things from there. So these will be red cherry sweet peppers that we'll try. And then I have from Annie's, I have the rainbow bell pepper mix. And it's all of these colors of bell peppers. If there's one thing we eat our weight in, it is bell peppers. So we wanted to make sure that we had plenty of bell peppers. All the colors of the rainbow. And I had to get these when I saw these because we love bell peppers. These are mini bell peppers. This is a mini bell pepper mix from Baker Creek. And the peppers are teeny tiny little peppers. So we are gonna try our hands at these mini bell peppers and hopefully we get some good production from those. Now, the hot peppers. I have several of these. Again, a lot of them came from my Am I Gardener grab bag, so we'll try them. I have these beautiful Buena multi peppers from Baker Creek. And again, like I said, several of these came from Am I Gardener. Let's see, we have the Tabasco hot peppers and Habanero Caribbean orange. These both came in my grab bag, so I'm super excited to try some of these. And then Annie's had a hot pepper collection, a Mexican pepper collection, and that's what came here. We have the Ancho pepper, the Habanero pepper, a Serrano pepper, and a regular plain old jalapeno, because I wanted some Nadapenos and some jalapenos. And also, I'm from Louisiana, so I had to have my cayenne pepper. I like to string these up and dry them and make actual actual cayenne pepper flakes with these, but these are delicious. So that is my peppers. Other tools we need something to grow the seeds in. These eventually want to invest in some from Bootstrap Farmer that are sturdier and thicker, but the reality of this year, getting the seed starting set up all ready to go, we had to get shelves, we had to get grow lights, there was a lot of expense this year. So this year I'm doing just the cheapo $5 trays. These are 10-20 trays. They've got a bottom waterer and they've got this humidity dome, which is great for starting. And I know some people like to start in the big seed pots, and I have these also. My lovely daughter got them for me for Christmas. But there are, and great, more power to you if you don't like up potting, but there are some benefits to starting small. First of all, seed mats, heat mats. Peppers, you probably can grow them without heat, or some people will stick them on top of their refrigerator or things like that to grow heat. But I find they'll grow a lot better if you put them on heat until they pop up out of the soil. So these are my heat mats, and I will put a link below to Amazon. These are not expensive heat mats, these are cheapo heat mats, but if you're buying a ton of them, they can add up really fast. They're waterproof seed mats and they fit the 10-20 tray. They're designed to fit that 10-20 tray. Now, the thing with, if you're growing in these big pots, you're going to need many, many more heat mats to support the same number of plants. So what I like to do is go ahead and start on these trays, use the heat mats, and then once they sprout, I can move the heat mats onto something else. Like I'm gonna start peppers, and then I'll move the heat mats onto tomatoes, and then we'll move the heat mats onto whatever else we're starting. So that's also helpful. I also use the seed starting mix. Now, when you're starting out seeds, it's important not to use just soil from your garden because you can bring in bugs and insects and things. But also, you probably want to use a seed starting mix rather than a potting mix because this is much more friable. It's more, it's less dense, and it allows the plant roots to develop than just a potting mix. And then when you up pot them, you can use a regular potting mix. So this is what I'm using, is this Burpee organic seed starting mix. Now I know some of you use potting soil, and that's fine. There's amendments you could do to make the top of it a little more delicate so that the little seeds can break through. But this is the option that we're going with. Another thing is when seedlings are small, they're very delicate, they're very susceptible to drying out. It is easier to make sure these stay watered and stay moist, especially with the bottom waterer. So those are the reasons that I start in this big cell. We've got 2 of these that we're going to start, and I'll put a link down below to where you can get these. Walmart, Home Depot, any of your big box stores are going to have this is the Ferry Morris, but there's all sorts of different 72 cell trays. I got these because they were the most cost efficient with the bottom water and the humidity dome all together. Now, that being said, I do not stick an individual little tag in each one of these. to let me know what I planted, but I need to know what I planted. So what I do is I just make a little chart and and there's 72 holes on here, and I take this and I write what I'm planting where, and I put a little star on the front, and then I have a sticker here that I put on the front of that to let me know which side lines up with which. And that's just a simple way to keep track of what I have where. When they get bigger, or when I go to plant them outside in the garden, then I will probably make tags and stick them in there. All right, so now we are ready to plant. We have our seed starting trays, and they're inside of our bottom water tray, and I'm just gonna leave them in there for now. And I'm gonna go ahead before I forget, and I'm gonna put my sticker, his little winky face smiley guy, and I'm gonna put him on the front. And I didn't notice when I purchased these, but also if you're not inclined to put a sticker on the front, they've got arrows on them to let you know which way is the front, so that's helpful. All right, so what we want to do first of all is to take and fill each of these all the way to the top. The soil is going to settle a little, but we want to make sure this is good and filled. All right, now that that part is done, one thing I overlooked was that I have two identical pepper things. And I can tell the difference between tomatoes and peppers, but two peppers might be tricky. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the different colors of stickers that I have on the things at the bottom of this. And that way I know this one's the red smiley and this one's the blue smiley. Yes, I know there are digital ways that you could do this much faster. I like having a paper copy. I will punch this and put it into my garden binder and have them. I'll probably take a picture too, just so I have a digital copy as well, but I'm a pen and paper kind of gal. I make my garden plan on the computer and then I hand draw. That's what I do. All right, so now what we want to do after we fill these with dirt, it's much easier to do this next step now before you put the seeds in, and that's make sure the soil is moist, because then you don't have to water them post planting, and you can make sure that there's enough soil in each one. And so I'm going to water now. Okay, now in the future, when I water these, I am going to be putting water in the tray in the bottom and letting them soak that water up. Now, you don't want them just sitting in water. This is an important note because you'll get root rot if they're completely wet all the time. So what you'll do is when you go to water them, you will put water in the tray and let it sit about 30 minutes or so, and you want to pull it off. Don't ever let it set longer than an hour for sure, but probably not more than 30 minutes. And you will want to water when you notice the top changing color. You do want the top to dry out, because when you're bottom watering, the roots are getting the water first and then it's expanding upward. And when the top dries out, it's still going to have water in the root structure. So you do want a little bit of that dry out in the top so that the plant starts to experience a little bit of stress. You don't want too much stress. You don't ever want it to dry out completely. But the more of a little squeeze on the stress you can give the plants, the stronger that plant is going to become. So, but you still do want to baby and make sure that they stay moist on the bottom. You don't ever want them to dry out on the bottom. But that's how the bottom waterers work, and they're wonderful. Now, we are going to plant the seeds. And I'm going to start with, which tray is this? This is my red tray. I'm going to start with my red tray. And I'm going to turn it the way my picture's turned. Now, when you plant these, I'm going to put 2 in each tray because that is going to allow, if there's germination that needs to happen, I'm going to turn it this way so you can see what I'm doing. If the plant doesn't germinate all the way, then I have a backup. So, and then I'll thin later, but you don't have to. You could see if it germinated, and then if it doesn't, you can plant another one, and that's a way to conserve seeds. But I'm gonna put 2 in each, and I just push them down and then kind of brush the soil over them. They don't need to be far down at all. So. Now, I will make the point, I only have about 13 or 14 seeds here, and I have wanted to plant 2 whole rows of these. So I am going to just plant 1 per packet of these seeds because I want to make sure that I use all these seeds well. Okay, so now we have all of our seeds planted, and what I'm going to do just to get them ready to go and give them an extra boost in germination is I'm going to take a water bottle And I'm just gonna spray the top of them. It's a gentler way to water once you get your seedlings in the ground. And then, once I do this, we're gonna put the lid on them. And the lid is just going to hold in that moisture, because when they're germinating, the two things pepper seeds need are heat and moisture to germinate. And once they have those, they usually take 7 to 14 days. Sometimes if you get a cantankerous variety, it'll take up to 21. But we'll hopefully have some germination in the next week or two. And we'll leave them on the heat mat until about 70% of the seeds in there are germinated, and then we'll make sure they're under heat, under lights, and we'll take them off the heat pad. And once we get to that part of the process, we'll show you that. All right, all nice and moist. And we're going to put our lids on. Trap in that humidity for the time being. Now, you don't want to grow them with the lids on. These lids need to come off. These lids need to come off once the plants sprout. This is just to keep the humidity in. Some people use saran wrap, different things while they're sprouting their plants, but these little things happen to come with lids, so we're using it. And then, like I said, once they sprout, you can take them off the heat mat. You can take the humidity lid off, because you don't want them to rot, or you're gonna have die off. Thank you for joining us today as we started our peppers, and we can't wait for you to join us on so many more of our homestead projects here at From the Roots Up.